Let's get sweaty.
Hey guys, welcome to a Shenmue Dojo video. Today's video I'm going to be talking about RYO and the potential of him being in Sonic Crossworlds Racing again. Are we edging closer, just ever so slightly, baby steps closer to RYO being in the game? Now, you will remember I did a video on this a few months ago. I will touch on that as part of this video. But do you know what? I'm going to talk about a new interview that came out just a couple of days ago. It's also fun to speculate. I appreciate this could well be me reaching somewhat, but let's just have a bit of fun. Let's speculate. Let's see if this thing could even happen. And then if it does happen, fantastic. And if it doesn't, well, we haven't really lost anything, have we? So let's dive straight in, shall we? So on the 27th of September, 4Gamer did an interview with Takashi Iizuka, who is at Sonic Team. He's one of the producers there. And they were discussing all things Sonic Crossworlds Racing, which has only just come out. I have my copy right here. I've played a little bit of it. It's a good game. Quite enjoyed it so far. Better than the demo I played at Gamescom. But anyway, I digress. The subject of DLC came up. Now, you're probably looking and going, okay, so why is that so important? Well, as you all remember, Ryo Hazuki was in Sonic All-Stars Racing and All-Stars Transformed, partly as DLC in Transformed, and you had to buy him in the game in the original release itself. So it came up talking about sort of DLC and essentially what they want to do with it. Now, this quote is, I guess, interesting in its own right. But again, without context, the previous interview I'll go to in a minute, you might think I'm talking, back up the wrong tree a little bit. But it said here, the collaboration characters are designed with global expectations, not just domestically, and are intended to be similar to those in Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. One new character will be added each month for free, not just for Sonic, but for those players who enjoyed racing with other Sega characters. So that in itself is probably, you're thinking, okay, great, there was plenty of Sega IP in the previous games. I mean, you had Fantasy Zone, you had Virtua Fighter, you had Super Monkey Ball, and you also, of course, had Shenmue in there. So you're looking at that going, okay, so that could be any number of IP. And you're right, absolutely right. But I want to wind back now to June this year. So an interview was done with the same person. This is by Famitsu. And again, there was a very interesting question and answer to this, which I will pop up on the screen for you right now to have a look at. So the question was asked, it says, it's no exaggeration to say that this is a culmination of Sega's racing games. In fact, we have a huge fan of Shenmue in the editorial department, and Ryo Hazuki has appeared only in the overseas version of Transformed, which you mentioned earlier. Is there a possibility that such a character will appear? Now, this is the interesting response here. I can't answer about unannounced characters yet, but the possibility is not zero. However, we can't put in everything, and we're planning to add one character each month, so we are selecting popular characters from IPs from Sega. We don't know if they'll be released yet, and we probably won't announce them in advance. I hope the customers will look forward to each month, wondering which character will be participating this month. So, while I appreciate it's probably, as I say at the top of this video, reaching just a little bit, and it may amount to not a huge amount when coupled together, there is a very slight possibility there. Now, he was asked about RYO directly. He said, look, it's not impossible. Now, there are plenty of IP out there that could also go in there, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the fact that they've acknowledged RYO is a positive, and also it just opens that door ever so slightly for that to happen. Now, Sonic and Sega Crossworlds Racing has essentially a DLC roadmap going at the moment. There's 9 slots at the moment without a named character. Now, Shenmue 3 Enhanced is due to release winter at some point, so that's this side of winter, or it could be in 2026. We just don't know at this point in time. But it could well fall into that pathway, and certainly in terms of Q4 2025, Q1 26, and maybe pushing Q2. So if you wanted to take advantage of RYO and the hype around Shenmue 3 Enhanced, you could easily do that and pop RYO straight into Sonic Crossworlds Racing, and away you go, happy days. And I think everyone would download it. Now, this is the interesting, because it's a free DLC as well. They lose nothing by doing this, and I think would open the door for potentially something more, but who knows here. But on the flip side of things, it's also worth noting that Sega will obviously want to put in characters from the new Energy New Era stuff, which we've seen, and games now are starting to come out. Obviously, Shinobi's just come out fairly recently, but you've got Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Crazy Taxi, and Jet Set Radio. So they put in one character from each of those IP. That's 5. That leaves then 4 slots left. Knights is confirmed. Now, you probably look at me and go, what is he talking about? But if you look at the case here, you can see Knights just here under my finger. Knights is on the cover there. So Knights is confirmed. We know that. Ichiban is also confirmed, and there was somebody else confirmed as well, but I can't quite remember who that was. But anyway, you've got 4 slots left. Take away all my Famitsu, that's 3. Virtua Fighter then is going to take up one of those, I'm pretty convinced. Now, Akira was in Sonic All-Stars Racing, and I believe Transform, but I'd have to double check and fact check myself on that. And I expect Kiryu will be in there from the Yakuza series, given that we've got Kiwami 3 coming out. That just, again, makes sense. So, in my mind, and I could be very wrong in assuming this, you've got 1 slot left. Just the 1. Now, hopefully, that will be for Ryo. But there are a lot of other Sega IP out there that could be competing for that as well. Plenty of those would have been in All-Stars Racing. You can think of Super Monkey Balls, which that's had a few releases fairly recently. Echo the Dolphins apparently getting revived. Now, that's probably going a bit into the left field, but it's those sorts of things that could come in here. Also, given that obviously Shinobi's just come out, they may think, well, we're not going to put Shinobi in, that game's out. It seems to review quite well. It's a good game. I hope it does well from a sales perspective. They may go, well, we won't do that. So then they may not do all of those new energy stuff, but I'm not convinced. I think they probably will, and I think Virtua Fighter and Kiryu are going to be an absolute given for me. So, as I say, the slots are very, very, very tight, and like I say, this could be reaching. But now you're looking at me and it's a big ask all the same. How can I help make this happen? So the first thing to do, and this is very, very simple for everybody here, any Sonic Crossworlds Racing post, ask for Ryo Hazuki to be in that game. Use the hashtags Ryo for Crossworlds and hashtag Shenmue as well. Don't worry, it will be in the description below, so you can copy and paste that if you want to. And what I'm going to do now is go back to past Matt, who's going to talk you through a customer survey that Sega Japan do, and you get a customer feedback form and how to fill all that in and how you can ask for Ryo through that method as well. So then another thing you can do if you wanted to is contact Sega Japan directly and ask them to put Ryo Hazuki in Sonic Crossworlds Racing. Keep it polite, keep it formal, keep it friendly. We don't want any sort of hate mail or nasty messages going over because we don't want to give the Shenmue community a bad name or anything like that. Plus, you are more likely to get a response. The link and everything you will need is in the YouTube description below. So what it will do, it will bring you over to the Sega Corporation website. Click on About Console and PC Games. Bring to this point here. Click Home, Games, Merchandise and Events, and it brings you this contact form here. I will put the direct link to the contact form in the YouTube description, but follow that step process if it doesn't work for whatever reason. Then what you need to do is fill this form in. Now, precursor, this must be filled in Japanese text, so you'll need to use Google Translate or ChatGPT or something like that to do this for you. If you're obviously not fluent in Japanese, I'm certainly not. And as I say, keep it formal, keep it polite, and you'll probably get a response out of it. So what I've done here is popped in the dojo email address, general inquiries, the title here, the problem is I put in Sonic Crossworlds Racing, content type games, name, my name in Japanese, the phone number, I've just made one up, ignore the error message below, it should be okay. Content name, unlisted titles, and then the name below it, I've put Sonic Crossworlds Racing plus Shenmue plus Ryo Hazuki. Then consultation details, I should put others. Then I've put the message itself, which is basically me asking very politely, saying, hey Sega, really like the look of the game. Would you consider putting Ryo Hazuki from Shenmue in the game? He's been in Sega Transform Racing games before. And also he's my favourite character from the Sega franchise. And the Shenmue community would really enjoy seeing him in there. Once that's all done, you hit the send button. And fingers crossed, there's no issues. It should just go off accordingly to Sega. There we go. That's all gone off to Sega. So you'll get this confirmation message and you should then get an email in your email inbox within a few minutes just to then drop through and say we've got it, and you'll get a reply within 24, 48 hours, which is great. So thank you, Past Matt, for that little introduction there. Hope everybody found that useful. All the links are in the YouTube description for those as well. Hopefully that all helps everybody. And I do think if we do this and push that momentum, use the 4th of the month as well, coming up for October, I really do think we can make enough noise and at least get them to consider it and hopefully put Ryo in this game. Now, why it's so important is essentially from my perspective, and I think a lot of you will agree with this, is if an internal Sega studio puts Ryo in a game. Now, obviously, Ryo was in Shinobi, but that was Lizard Cube, external, licensed out Shinobi, great game and all the rest of it, but it's an external licensee, it's completely different. If an internal Sega studio do this, For me, that is a major shift internally from Sega around the attitude towards Shenmue. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to make Shenmue 4, but what it does do is reopen the conversation for Sega and Shenmue and their involvement. And that, for me, is why this is so important. So, as I said at the top of this video, that is why it is really important we push for this, but at the same time as well, given what is out there, I appreciate it is reaching, I appreciate it's speculation, but if we don't try, we don't know. At the end of the day, if we do nothing, it won't happen. We do something, we have that chance to make things happen. And as I keep saying in the videos I've been doing recently, the Shenmue community has been moving forward in baby steps and baby steps and baby steps. But that culminates, that accumulates, and all of a sudden, you could well be at Shenmue 4. That is the whole point. That's what we did previously when we got Shenmue 3, and I believe that is the path we're onto at the moment with Shenmue 4. So if we make the effort for this, I do think we will end up potentially in a good place. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave things there. Let me know what you think. Am I going completely stark raving mad and talking utter nonsense? You know, do tell me. Not going to be offended by that. Likewise, give us a like, share, subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and all the usual places you can find us. If you want to be a member, just a couple of £1 a month, and you get all the videos ahead of time with all the money raised going towards site running costs and competition prizes that James and I will put together for everybody as well. I'm going to leave things there. As always, guys, thank you for enjoying the content that James and I are putting out for the dojo and the Shenmue community. It is always much appreciated. Keep an eye out. We are streaming on the 4th of October, and there will be another video coming out in the not too distant future as well, guys. But for now, take it easy, and I'll speak to you all soon. All the best.